All right, Math 20s, this video comes out of chapter 9 and section 9.3. So this time we're looking at quadratic inequalities, but there are two variables. So you have both a y and an x in the question. So something like this is possible. Obviously they can change up what quadratic you have, mix it up. Your first step would be to solve for y. Step one, I say isolate y, get y on one side of that inequality. They've already done that, so we don't even have to worry about that. And that's usually the case, to be honest, in these quadratic inequalities with two variables. The next step is graph whatever this parabola needs to look like. In this case, they were kind enough to give us a parabola that's in vertex form. So I know where the vertex is. It's at -5, 3. And I find some other point on that parabola. In this case, I just put in -6 and found, oh, okay, it's right there, -6, 1. So there's a parabola. That is not the answer to my inequality, however. The next step is to decide, am I going to be using the curve itself, or do I need to put a dotted curve there? Well, because there's an equal to sign here, the curve itself is part of the solution to the question. So I leave this alone. I don't have to make it a dotted parabola. If it was no equal sign, I'd have to make it a dotted parabola. Next step is to use a test point then to decide, am I shading above or below? I always like the test point 0, 0. If 0, 0 works in the inequality, I know to shade 0, 0 and everything around it. If 0, 0 doesn't work, I know not to shade it. So in this case, I stick 0 in for x and y in my original inequality. I carefully do the bed mass. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 squared is 25. 25 times -2 is -50. And I find out, oh yes, 0, 0 does work in that inequality. 0 is larger than -47. So that tells me that 0, 0 and the region including 0, 0 needs to get shaded. So now last step is to decide to shade above or below this parabola. So draw your parabola again and make sure that you shade the part of the region that includes 0, 0. So since 0, 0 is here, I'm shading everything above and outside that parabola. Anything underneath it does not satisfy the inequality. So you will notice in chapter 9, anything that had two variables needed a graph. You had to shade above and below lines in 9.1 and above and below parabolas in 9.3. When you only had one variable, you could answer the question just with a statement, x is greater than this, less than this type of statement, or just a number line, because you don't need two dimensions if you don't have two variables.